What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to give a little quick video on an issue that I helped a young lady fix in her car. I met her at a restaurant and we got to talking about working on cars and whatnot, and she told me about a blower motor issue that she was having on her Chrysler 200 2015, and told me everything that she had checked and done, and I told her I would be willing to give her some assistance and see if we could figure out what the problem was. And it actually wound up costing no money to fix it. So I'm going to show you exactly what we found. I didn't take any pictures when we were actually working on the vehicle, so I'm just going to use some stock photos from the internet to show what I'm talking about. But what we found was that when you were trying to turn the AC, you could turn the car on, the AC control worked, all the functions on there worked. The AC compressor was kicking on. It was commanding for the blower to turn on, but nothing was working. So I ran a scanner on it, and in the climate control module, it said there was a blower motor fault. So I disconnected the connector from the blower motor, and it's the 4-pin connector that I'm going to show in this picture. But that 4-pin connector has 2 big wires. One's blue and one's black, and then it has 2 small wires. The blue and the black wire are the ground and power for the blower motor, for the resistor. The resistor is mounted directly to the back of the blower motor, and then there's a jumper wire that runs from the resistor or varistor down to the blower motor itself. It may even be a blower motor control module. I'm not 100% certain. It could be a varistor or it could be a control module, but either way, it's what controls the blower motor. So I probed those wires when she turned the car on, and we had 12 volts when it was unplugged. So then I plugged it back into the blower motor, and I tested it from the back of the plug with it plugged into the blower motor, and as soon as it got plugged into the blower motor, the voltage would drop to 3.94 volts. Sometimes it would drop down to a little under 3, to like 297 or somewhere around there. But it was, as soon as you plugged it in, it would drop the voltage down, which told me that there was some kind of resistance in the wire or in the circuit somewhere. So then we started testing the relay, and we ran a jumper wire outside of the car from the relay in the front engine compartment, which I'm going to show now. So we ran a wire from that relay from the hot side, so pin 30. So I'll show a diagram of a relay here so that I can explain what's going on. But you have the hot side, which is the 30, and then the load side, which is either 87 or 87A, depending on if it's a dual pole switch or a single pole switch, whatever. Normally open, normally closed. They're different numbers for whatever it is. But I hooked it up to the 30 pin and then ran it around to the blower motor outside of the car. Had her turn the car on, then I applied that voltage from the 30 pin to the blower motor, and the blower motor kicked on immediately. So then I tested it from the load side of the relay. So I had the power going through the relay to test to make sure that the relay was good, and it still worked when the relay was hooked up. So that told me that it was a problem with the blue wire. Somewhere in that line there was a problem with that blue wire. So we had actually planned on running a new wire from the blower motor up to the fuse panel in the engine compartment, and we actually ran it. It's still in the car in case this wire messes up again. But what we found was that on the bottom side of the fuse panel, there's 3 electrical connectors. The electrical connector that's closest to the headlight and closest to the driver's side fender is the connector that you're focused on, and it is the very last pin. If you're standing in front of the car and you just roll the connector up to look at it, it'll be the last pin up and to the left. It'll be that very last pin. That last pin is that blue wire. And what had happened is it's pulling so many amps through that wire that it melted the plastic that's holding that pin in place. And the plastic started to cover the terminal, and it started covering the terminal on the back side of the circuit board that goes up to the relay. So we scraped the melted plastic off of both the terminal on the fuse panel and on the terminal of the wire. And we wound up actually having to break part of the connector out because it was so melted. And then we hooked the wiring connector back up to the bottom of the fuse panel, and then just made sure that that wire was pushed in all the way, and then zip tied it to the rest of the wires so that it would stay up in there, and then screwed the rest of it back together. And the blower motor worked perfectly as soon as we did that. As soon as we cleaned all the plastic off of that melted electrical connector, it immediately started working. And I just texted her earlier to verify that it's still working, and she said it is still working. So apparently this is a pretty easy fix. You just need to take a little bit of time. And now this is only if this is the case for yours. If you're getting the same kind of readings as me, where you get 12 volts when it's unplugged, but when you put it under load, it doesn't get 12 volts. Because what it is that my Hyundai has this same issue. They're running so many amps through these plastic connectors that the wire can handle it. The connector for the wire can handle it, but it gets so hot that it melts the plastic connector that it's encased in. And then it melts and drips all over the connector, and it makes it lose contact. The Hyundai Veloster does the exact same thing. There's actually a recall on the heater control unit for this exact problem. And it's because the blower motor pulls so many amps. But they should have designed the circuit a little bit better. It is what it is. But that's where the problem was on this one. I could see it where it would also burn the contact on the blower motor, but you'd be able to see that immediately. So hopefully this helps somebody with a Chrysler 200 if they have any issues with their blower motor not working. It's a cheap, easy fix, it's a free, easy fix. You just need time. But the fuse panel under the engine compartment is just held in with clips, and then the wiring connectors are held in with 3 nuts on the top of they come in through the fuse panel. So you're looking at the fuses, and then in between the fuses, you'll see 3 silver bolts. They're 7mm, but you have to unscrew those, and as you unscrew them, the connector will actually drop down, and then it's a pretty long screw, so you gotta turn it quite a lot. But once you disconnect it, then just look at that connector and see if it's melted. If it is, clean up the connector, clean up the bottom of the fuse panel where that connector plugs in, because we had melted plastic on that blade connector that's in the bottom of the computer, or the bottom of the fuse panel. And yeah, it was a very easy fix. It took us a long time to find it. We were up there. I met her at an auto parts store, the Hub, around here in Atlanta, and we worked on it in the parking lot, and I think we spent 3 hours or 4 hours trying to find it, and got it working though. So hopefully this helps. Thanks for checking out the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great one.